Hey, how you doing? I read something today that really stopped me for a moment. Ram Dass quotes Ambrose Bierce saying that longevity is an uncommon extension of the fear of death. It's one of those lines that's kind of sharp enough to stick. You read it and it lingers. Not because it's obviously true, but because it might be. And it made me think of Taoism, and I've always liked and gained and learned a lot from Taoism. There's something about it that just feels clean, direct, and unforced. The emphasis on flow, on harmony, on not pushing the river. The idea that when you stop fighting the way, things align of their own accord. That resonates deeply with how I've come to understand magic and practice, but Taoism also has a long tradition of longevity practices. Breath work, energy circulation, internal alchemy, refining essence, strengthening vitality. In some streams, even talk of immortality. When I read that Bias line, something in me asked, is that just fear wearing spiritual clothing? I know it's a big question here. Is the pursuit of longevity simply a sophisticated way of not wanting to die? I guess it's a fair question. If someone's trying to extend their life because death terrifies them, then yes, that feels like grasping. And grasping doesn't feel very Tao. The Tao dissolves, it returns, it moves in cycles. It doesn't cling to the wave, it is the wave. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized the motive matters. It's always the intent, isn't it? There's a difference between clinging to life and tending to life. In Taoist thought, longevity isn't usually framed as panic preservation, it's about alignment. When breath is steady, when energy isn't squandered, when you're not constantly fighting yourself or the world, the body lasts. When you live in rhythm instead of friction, you don't burn out as quickly. That doesn't feel like fear to me. That feels like craftsmanship, like an art. And actually, that's not far from how I understand Druidry in the way I live it. Druidry is not about denying cycles. Winter comes, leaves fall, things end. But there's reverence for strength, for rootedness, for standing well within your span of years. The oak doesn't try to live forever, it simply grows deeply and fully in the conditions given. And longevity, in that sense, isn't an attempt to outwit death. It's an expression of harmony. There's there's another layer too. In some Taoist alchemical traditions, immortality isn't really about the body at all. It's about stabilizing awareness, refining what is subtle rather than just extending what is physical. That begins to sound less like fear and more like depth. When I stand in the deeper ground I've been writing about recently, that place beneath surface identity, death doesn't feel like the same kind of threat. The body will end. Of course it will. Look at me. I've started wearing a flat cap. I'm 50. Bits ache and don't work as well as they used to, but what I most fundamentally am doesn't feel so easily defined by that ending. From that place, the question of longevity shifts. It's no longer how long can I stay? It is how fully can I inhabit this, all of this. If Taoist practice helps someone inhabit their life more cleanly, more harmoniously, more awake, then longevity is just a byproduct of alignment. If it becomes obsession, then perhaps Beers has a point. I don't feel the need to resolve it neatly. What I do know is this: fear contracts, harmony expands. When longevity is pursued from contraction, it tightens. When it arises from harmony, it feels natural. For me, whatever you label you put on it, the work is not about living forever. It's about living from depth whilst I'm here. If that steadiness brings strength to the body and clarity to the mind, great. If it doesn't extend my years at all, hey, that's okay. I'm here to be here for as long as I'm here. And that's all any of us will ever be. The Tao flows whether I cling or not. And I'd rather move with it than bargain with it. Take care. See you soon.